Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2 of the yet to be named, possibly already has been named, I don't know because I'm in the past and this will be in the future, series doing some maintenance to my 2010 Yamaha XJ6. Now in the first episode we took the front end off, as you can see here, we've got all that fairing off. If you want to keep up with the series, go back and watch that first episode, otherwise we're just going to get on. Today's plan is to take off these plastics, obviously the seat, some of these side plastics because I want to get behind all here and clean all of it. Might also take the exhaust off because I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll talk about the stand issue again while I'm going, but I made a mistake in the last one possibly, I don't know. Don't know. Okay, so step one's going to be take the seat off, and guess where the keys are? Of course they were inside. That's where they'll always be when you need them. For people who watched the last series, are you preferring the way I'm filming this one? I'm liking the idea of having the close-up camera, wha-bam, and the GoPro, so we can kind of talk more, and I prefer it, so tough. Okay, one seat, which weighs a ton. I forgot how much that seat weighed. Sure, I don't know if I've ever looked at the toolkit in here. Give me the thing. No, I've never been in here. Wow. I don't understand how I've just ignored this fact this entire time. So I've got spanners. Well, that's obviously some sort of like socket. An extension bar. Spanners. Pliers. More spanners. More spanners. More spanners. I have an adjuster tool for the suspension. So that's what that'll be for. I did not know that. Some Allen keys and a double-ended screwdriver and a piece of... Why? What's that for? I think that should actually tell you something. You know, I bought this bike with about 40... I think it had about 42,000 miles on it at the time. It's now got about 52,000 miles on it. And I haven't ever opened the toolkit, which means it's never broken down on me out somewhere and I've been like, God, I need to try and fix it. It's interesting. I've just noticed there's a little wear on the tank that's gone all the way through the paint from the seat rubbing on it. So I think that's something we'll address. Probably clean it up, helicopter tape over it. I've got some left after the DRZ build. Yeah, this is all really filthy and grotty. There's some rust in here that needs to be cleaned out and just treated. Yeah, this bike just needs a good going over, in my opinion. Why is there a piece of bubble wrap in here? Oh, it's when I wrapped my phone up in there at one point. Oh. It's quite tight. It's very tight. Just going to put a dot of WD on each one, just in case there's anything between the two surfaces that's stopping it. I have a better idea. I've learnt my lessons through doing bike stuff. Don't mess around. Note to self, copper slip the hell out of these bolts before they go back in. Yeah, what I was saying was, I found through doing more and more mechanical work over the years. You know, I've been doing mechanical work all my life, starting out as a kid on boats and stuff with my dad. But over time, as I've done more stuff on my own, you start learning and you're being very careful and very respectful. You don't want to break anything, you're being really careful. And you think that's you being smart. And then the more you do things, the more you just start hitting them with hammers. And the problem is you can't teach people to start hitting things with hammers because you need to know when you can hit someone with something with a hammer and when you can't. So you have to learn from the careful way to learn how to beat things up with a hammer. Is basically my thesis that I'm putting forward here. You have to learn the careful approach before you can start getting the hammers out. Otherwise you just end up breaking stuff. This, of course, if you saw Project Divi, the first series, was given to me by an extremely kind subscriber who worked in a Yamaha place, and they happened to have one of these around, because the bike without this, and it didn't have it when I bought it, is really weird looking, especially with this big old tail light. In the last episode, I realised I said about you should use bags to help yourself keep more organised, and I learnt that from the first build, and it sounded like I didn't do that and I had a complete nightmare. No, what I'm saying is, what I meant to say is that when I knew it was a good idea to do it, but I didn't realise how good of an idea it was until I had to go and put the bike back together after months, and was like, wow, I literally know everything because it's all labelled so well. Thank you, past me. I have to say, as much as I'm doing this during the time of lockdown, because we're during the time of lockdown, if you could see outside right now, you wouldn't blame me for doing this now either. It's horrible here at the moment. It's been grey and raining for days and days and days. Pretty nasty winds as well at times. So, it's just as well we're doing this. Yeah. Okay, there's a couple of things in here that aren't stock. The USB charger, which I've done a video on, installing that. That's not. And this little module underneath here, which I'm going to need to remount somehow. I might use Sugru. That might be the actual answer to this. Or at least make me a little wedge in it to mount it better. I have a video on this. This is a device made by a company called Safe Turn System. But I've heard they're not responding to emails recently. And some customers having a problem. But basically, this little unit is an accelerometer, and it tells when I slow down through engine braking, and then it flashes the rear light to give people a warning that I'm slowing down, and then when I pull the brake in, it goes red. Well, obviously, you normally, when you're engine braking, cover the brake anyway, but on those instances that you forget to do that, at least you have this flashing red light to give people an idea, where's my bin gone, as to what you're up to. Or at least to be alert that something's happening. A lot of people have said an awful lot of things about this. I'm imagining none of them have actually ridden with one. All I can say is I've not had a problem with it. It seems to do its job. I've had one road rage incident, actually, kind of, where I think someone thought I was brake checking them because it was going flash, 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 and it's like, no, I'm just decelerating. But that was the only one. But as you can see, there is a bit of a mess of wiring going on in here. The indicators are all kinds of a mess. With the resistors and these, oh yeah. Because these are, what are these? These some Lex Tech ones? Yeah, these indicators are going to get changed because they're very old. Oh, also, going back to the safe turn system, I used 3 of these, you know, the quick connectors that clamp around the wire and you clamp it all up and it automatically cuts through the wire. These are horrible. That's what everyone's always told me. I completely agree with you. They're horrible. But all I can say is these 3 here, which have been in the dry, have worked perfectly this whole time. And as far as installing it another way, that's going to be a lot more of a tricky job with solder and stuff. So in this instance, I'm not that annoyed about these. But depending on if that stays or goes, I'll have to replace those cables. I mean, they only lead down to this plug that go up into this light. And I reckon they're desolderable, or at least I could cut and splice new ones in if I needed to. Don't know at the moment. In case you're wondering, Spicy, do you not have any T-handle Allens? I don't. But you can always do stuff like this. You know, stubby screwdriver, that through there. It's basically a T-handle. Oh, look at the... I'm trying to work out exactly what this is. It's a type of corrosion. This is a stainless steel bolt. That's not aluminium, so it can't be that. It's... Is it salt? It's not salt. Is this all about to come crashing down as I get this last screw out? The answer appears to be yes. Okay, so that's freed up the tail light, which can now be removed with the bit attached. I think I'll clean that up and respray it, just because it's inside the bike and it's absolutely mean. Okay, what monstrosity of wiring have we got going on in here? This is really not good. This is not acceptable, sir. This is your own previous work and it's rubbish, sir. I mean, you can see my problem. I had an awful lot of cable to deal with and I had the resistors to sort out, but I should have chopped these down and shortened them. So disconnect those. Disconnect those. What's that doing? Okay, and pulling this apart, it would appear we've actually pulled this out of that resistor, which is fantastic news, because now that can all go in the bin. In here, I have got 4 bullet connectors. 2 of them are for the tail light. So I'm going to put a dot on each one of these. That's the tail light, and then I know that the other 2 are to do with indicators. Other 4 even, because I've got the grounds. And then there's multiply. Just little breadcrumb ideas like that will save you time in the future. USB charger, nice and simple. Rusted out. Oh, I really didn't use this very often, and I never used the 12 volt side. So I'm thinking I might replace this if I'm going to put one back in with a smaller version without that. Oh! I wired my heated grips into the tail light, running light, to make it switched. And there's the join. Again, an absolute god-awful join. Well, at least it's soldered in here, that's something. All that needs attention, new indicators, and this wiring. This is one of the jobs I didn't realise I needed to sort out, but I need to sort out. And I've also noticed the grips on my heated grips, which are R&G ones, have, after a couple of years now, it may even be longer than that. If you look R&G heated grips video, that's how long. They're still working absolutely great, but they have worn down to the point there's virtually no grip left on them. So I might ask R&G for a new set if they won't mind. Fantastic. I don't know if you can hear this, but someone's using one of those reciprocating little whee saws just outside my window there. Right, so that goes to the heated grips. This is all very messy. Right, well, all that wiring, other than the heated grips wire, looks absolutely fine. Probably because it's all stock and not mine. I'm quite ashamed of how bad it was in here. I didn't realise quite how bad of a job I'd done with the wiring in this. If you look at my the DRZ build, when I did the wiring under the tail for that, you will love it. It's how wiring should be. But obviously, without all the shrink wraps and the connectors and all the stuff that I needed, I did my best, and it worked. I mean, it worked. It never became a problem. It was all fused like it should be. You know, I didn't skimp there. I did solder wires, didn't just tape them. But you can do a much better job on electrics, and I think you should. It's something that you should take the time in doing. Anyway, so that's all going to need a clean up and a rewire. That one. I couldn't really think what to call these, and then I was like, hang on a minute, something else you can also do is draw a representation of the part, and then you'll know exactly where it comes from. Breadcrumbs. It's all about the breadcrumbs. Okay, I think I'm going to end this one here because we're at a good point. I know where to go for the next episode, but I have work to do in between. I just need to clean up all these panels, get them all put away into storage. And I also need to clean up some of those bits and get those put away in storage safely. So that's going to be, you know, you don't want to see me cleaning those. It's going to be boring. So I'll do that in my own time. I'm going to look into what crash protection there is. But in the next episode, what we will do is take these off. Take off the foot brackets. Try and work out what's wrong there. Take the exhaust off. Split it in the middle. Take that off as well. The belly pan. And try and get the centre stand on so we can get this bike up on its stand. Ready to keep going. Because as I say, I want to get the forks off. So I'm going to get on and do that. I may make another video in between. By the way, if you don't know, I have a second channel and I'm putting some gaming videos up there now and then because, well, they're very quick and easy to make and they're a bit of fun. It's called A Slice of Spice. There is a link in the description to that channel. If it's not monetized or anything like that, it doesn't get enough views. But if you'd like to go and look at it, subscribe to it, you know, if you're into gaming stuff. And there's a few other videos I wish to make as well, other than just this stuff, because obviously I need to do a bit of both to keep everyone entertained if they're not fully into this. But I do think a lot of people really do like this. And if you do like it, please do remember to hit that like button. I massively appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new here, or even if you're not new here and you're not subscribed, hit the button. I'm on my way to 100k. I just want the thing to stick on the wall. I don't care otherwise. It's completely genuinely as well. And also, if you'd like to help support this channel, please do that through Patreon. I would very much appreciate it. Till the next one, bye-bye.